Good victory. Once again, going back to ULM. Proud of the guys. Obviously, we'd like to start better. We got to work on that and get off to a better start, a little flat, but give ULM credit. I thought they had some good schemes and played very well early. But it was good to see our team have the ability to make big plays on both sides of the ball. So overall, good team victory. Really excited and looking forward to the great challenge of going to LSU this week. Typical LSU team, extremely physical, well-coached team. We'll have our hands full, but again, looking forward to it. It'll be a great challenge and a great opportunity.
Coach, 92,000 people down there when you go down there this week, and aside from some of the emotion, how about the practicality of calling that offense? It's kind of like Florida, well, the fan noise, all the stuff's going to be happening for your offense. And
yeah.
You're going to have to change how you communicate.
We'll do what we do on the road. Same communication that we used in the swamp, you know. So, of course, you know, each of these challenges going on the road in the SEC, it's gonna be loud and all that. So we got to deal with it. We'll be okay.
Coach, you called on your linebackers to respond against the poor running game in weeks past. How did they do on film?
We were better. We were much better. I really was proud of Khalid. I thought he played his best game. He really improved. Josh played better against the run as well. Like I've said over and over, Josh does some things very well, but overall as a unit, they took great pride in trying to improve, and obviously that's we're gonna need a great week of preparation this week because it's a different challenge this week. You know, they run the ball extremely well, extremely physical. You know, with the emergence of their freshman tailback Fournette, he's a physical guy, and of course Kenny Hilliard, their senior. They got some good backs, very big, very physical. Their O-line does a great job, so we'll have our hands full this week.
Is it one of the cases where you just preach fighting fire with fire, being more physical, or is there anything else you can do?
Well, we need to do a lot of things better. We as coaching staff got to do a good job of putting them in a position to be successful. You know, so scheme-wise, we have to be good and on point, and we need to continue to play great technique up front, and we're going to need improved play from the linebackers, and we're going to need great support from our secondary as well. So it's always team defense. You know, it obviously starts up front with the technique of the D-line and the linebackers. So it's a combination of things that we're gonna, you know, and obviously it's they keep you off balance. They know what they're doing. They could run the ball, you know, a lot of different ways, and it's not just about brute and brawn. You know, they're big and physical, but they also know what they're doing.
You cited it as a potential positive, obviously, if you fix it, but winning some games where you haven't played your best.
Yeah.
Along those lines, you guys are averaging about 6 penalties, 60 yards in penalties a game.
Yeah.
What do you see? Any trends there? Is that a thing that one of those areas that you feel like if you fix that, then?
Well, I think that's part of it. You know, we've talked about it. We have not played our best. That is the good news. I think there's an awful lot of room for improvement. In all phases. We can coach better, guys can play better, we can be more disciplined with penalties. So that's what we're looking to continue to get better and improve. So we'll continue to work on that with penalties. Hey, when you have an aggressive team, there's going to be some penalties too. So you know, we will work on that and continue to work on discipline, but we do want an aggressive team.
Can we talk about Boom Williams and the impact he's had?
Yeah, Boom. It was great to get him back again, and last week he had a big impact. He's explosive. You know, the kickoff return, getting him on the perimeter with some of those runs. He's got the big play capability. So he's definitely helps us and gives us that added dimension of a home run guy.
What about
Right third banged up Saturday, or was that just a matter of riding other guys?
No, it was just, again, we had 59 touches and splitting it up. That's the good news as we move forward here with a big physical game coming up this week. We have, you know, a lot of backs that we have confidence in. So.
A.J. Stamps didn't play a lot second half. Was he okay?
He's fine. He's been playing with, you know, he's been a little bit sore, but he's been playing through it, and he'll be okay.
And Darian
Darian will be fine as well. He could have went back and played, but you know, once we were in control of things in the second half, we didn't feel the need, and you know, so he should be healthy and ready to go.
Mark, Blake Bowman talked about that you all kind of talked to the guys about not overreacting to touchdowns and big plays, act like you've done it before. How do you kind of balance that with also wanting your guys to play with emotion and all? Like
Yeah. Well, we just need to constantly preach being unselfish. And that's you know, I want aggressiveness. I want them enjoying it. We're always toting that fine line of you know, letting the guys be who they are, and you know, I want them excited at practice. I want them excited in the games, but we can't be selfish. You know, we're not good enough to overcome foolish penalties and you know, all those things. So we've got to continue to work on that. And you know, it's a situation this week where I'm going to self-impose a penalty on one of our guys that's going to miss the first half of this game for that very reason. So, you know, we just got to continue to grow.
Want to tell us who they gave?
Not really.
Mark, talk about having different players in the backfield that have been a standout each game. Right?
Pardon me?
The running game, how you had a different player stand
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, you know, it just depends who gets hot, and you know, we feel, you know, each of those backs are a little bit different, and maybe it depends on what's hitting and what style, whether it be the Wildcat like we talked about, or Braylon hitting a big crease, or Boom getting on the perimeter, and McKell. You know, McKell's kind of the complete back, you know, as well. He's a guy that has good vision for a big guy and could get those some of those yards don't look real fancy, but he's got good vision and is a big, strong guy. And you know, McKell is a guy that I think the more and more touches he gets is better and better as well. So we have a nice mixture.
Mark, what do you see from Marcus's progress in the secondary? It seems like a couple big plays now.
Marcus is growing, and I got to continue to lean on Marcus, and we've got to continue to really push him because he's got great ability, and it's just a matter of just really being disciplined in his preparation. You know, he means well. He's got to concentrate and be more precise in his practice habits because he's got some big play capability, and he's a big physical guy. And so we got to continue to work with him and continue to push him.
Mark, do you talk to Bradley Dale, or have you since he left, and then kind of
Yeah.
how do you see this game?
Yeah, we'll he always sends texts, and we communicate back and forth throughout the year. Bradley Dale's been a close friend of mine for a long time, and will continue to be. I don't think we'll talk much this week. Maybe he'll send me over some crawfish to the hotel or something, but no, we talk throughout the year. Yeah.
Do you have to change anything in terms of signaling stuff in because there is a coach at LSU?
We're different. We already have different signals this year. Yeah.
Speaking of change, their strength seems to be your strength. Defenses,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We just got to, I think any coach would tell you, just look to improve, you know, in all areas. You know, I think, you know, they're, you know, just again talking about them, they're just very physical. That's what you expect when you play LSU. You know, I'm sure Coach Miles prides himself on that, and they are. They're big and physical up front, big, strong backs. They're inexperienced at certain positions, but very talented. They're extremely talented in the secondary. You know, that's something that I noticed right away and watched them and just have a great appreciation for the way they cover people. They're big and long and athletic, so, and obviously very well coached. Coach Chavis been around forever, doing a great job. So they're just good across the board. And that's, you know, that's us. You know, all we're trying to do is improve, and in the areas like you're talking about, maybe we're not been as strong. We got to continue to improve, and that's the good news. Is we're just scratching the surface. I think we can be a much better football team.
When you think of it, John Chavis, what are the characteristics of it?
Just well coached, always in position. You know, aggressive, but they're in position. You know, they're not going to give you anything. You have to earn it. You have to beat them. And just just a well-coached team. And always play hard. I think that's always a compliment to any coach with the attitude of your players.
What can you tell them about the environment? I mean, a lot of people talk about this place at night and playing there.
Yeah.
Are there things you can do to sort of prepare for that?
No, I really don't think there is. I mean, the crowd noise is not going to simulate what it's like down there at 7:30 in a tip-off. The good news is we've been to a hostile environment, and hopefully, as I commented last week, I think we grew from that game, and hopefully we could take something away from it again because, the way. If we execute and do what we're capable of, and they can't get down there and play, But I love the atmosphere. I've been down there before. They are passionate fans, and it's a hostile environment, and that's why we play. That's why we coach. We want to continue to win games to put ourselves in position to play in big games. So, this will be a great challenge.
The slow start offensively this past weekend.
Yeah. It was a variety of things. Just like we talked about before, but it was always one guy. That's in a way that's the good news. You know what I mean? Because even we talk about being flat and whatever. There's no excuses. They perform better than we did, and but it was one guy. It was a breakdown here or there, and those are things that we got to get fixed.
Mark, is it good or bad though that after the game a lot of your players admitted that flat was an issue? Are you glad they understood that, or would you rather not have to learn?
Well, you're always glad to get through with a victory, and we can. I said it in a press conference last week, I believe, but I mean, you could talk till you're blue in the face. You could put all kind of examples in front of them, and we try to prepare them the best we can, and hopefully they learn something from it. But it's not just emotion either. It's not just you don't just turn emotion on Saturday. It's about the week, and I know I talk about that all the time, but it's so true. They've got to walk in our building today with a great attitude about them and a strong mindset to have a great week of preparation to put ourselves in position to win the game.
Halfway through the season, how would you evaluate the first half?
Progress. We're making progress, and I think there's still a lot more in our tank. There's a lot more we could do better.
Mark, how surprised
had
are
the
you?
long return at the beginning of the game, but
Sorry.
Boom had that long return at the beginning of the game, but just overall, how have you thought about the return team going on?
No, I think we've been solid. I really do. I think we've been solid across the board on special teams in our return game, and we had a muff here and there off a punt return. That's it's an individual decision that we got corrected, but overall, I'm really proud of our team's effort on special teams. I've gotten I think, as I just mentioned, I've gotten some comments and some compliments of the way our teams are playing. And special teams is a big indicator because you have to be unselfish to play special teams. And they don't get a lot of credit all the time. And I think our guys are playing very hard. And I think that's a credit to Coach Niver. And he's very passionate about what he does. And our players really love playing for him. And they've played very hard and they've been unselfish.
How surprised are you at the leadership you're getting from either younger guys or transfers who haven't been here for 3 or 4 years?
Well, I think the tone is set by our older guys. I don't think they get enough credit for what they're doing to try to change the culture in our locker room. They've really been good, and they've been a pleasure to coach. Our older guys have really kind of set the tone, and constantly working to continue to improve and be an unselfish team and a team that is doing the right things. We're not perfect, but there's a bunch of guys that are working extremely hard and doing a lot of good things.
Is that part of what Bud's stats early in the season maybe weren't jumping off the page like one of the best players in the conference of the country, but in some of those other things, sort of the way he talks, whether it's win or lose, seems like he's that guy.
It's a great example because all the great players, they want to jump out right away and get all those statistics and everything. Everybody talks about them all off season and then in the pre-season and all those things, and that's where you could get in trouble. And we had some circumstances where not Bud, but certain people were trying to do too much, and it was hurting us. And everybody's bought in and trying to do their part. You have to be very unselfish to play D-line, and I think we're getting good D-line play. No matter what the recognition they're getting, they're playing very hard and fundamentally getting better and better. And Bud is starting to get his statistics. Z is starting to get his stats. But the bottom line is those guys want to help us win football games and obviously play good and improve their stock in the draft and things like that by just playing good football. And people recognize it, and they're just doing good things, and they're getting better and better. And again, I think you need that type of unselfish play. The recognition and the plays will come if you play good.
At the beginning of the year, the players talked about last year how frustrating it was not to intercept passes.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just become a rash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about just the turnaround mentally that does for you.
Well, I think, as you've seen throughout the year, some of it has been great individual efforts. Some of it has just been good team defense. Some of it's just been a fortunate break here and there. And, the harder you work, the luckier you become. So I think our guys have really bought into that, and we're working hard to put ourselves in position. And, you have to have great structure and great position on the football to make plays. And I think you've seen a variety of things, like I just said. Some individual effort and some just good position on the ball, good team defense.
It seems like when we went to one of the open practices in preseason, I mean, we remarked among ourselves, it seemed like the DBs were breaking on the ball and taking chances, wanting to make plays, and maybe we didn't see last year. Is that from a confidence level of being in a system a second year, or athletic ability, or what's behind it?
I think it's a combination of things. I think our coaches have done a good job of working with them, fundamentally getting better. I think it's a big part of it is understanding. You have to be mentally sharp to play this game and when and where and how to take your chances, where your help is, just understanding the whole situation. And so a big part of it's technique, and a big part of it is mental, just like a lot of things.
Coach, how did Patrick grade out on the film?
Patrick did some good things. I thought we took care of the football better, in this game, outside of JoJo's pass. But so I thought Patrick really did some good things, and maybe wasn't flashy to everybody and all that, but really threw the ball well when he had to, and really had some good throws. And we were off a little bit at times too, whether it be a receiver or a high throw here or there, and so we weren't perfect, but he did some good things. But yeah, I like his decisions. Yeah.
No more Kemp throwing.
We got to keep him honest. Yeah. We're working 2 or 3 more this week. Yeah.
A lot of quarterbacks hate that game manager tag, but is that something Patrick has really kind of grown into?
Well, I think if you're going to play quarterback, you better embrace that tag, because there's times when, whatever, they may be covering you, they may call for more runs. You got to protect the football and play defense. Game changes all the time. It very rarely goes according to script. But with that being said, I think Neil's done a nice job, and certainly I tried to of instilling a bunch of confidence in him. We believe in his ability, and we want him to go out there and throw, and there's going to be moments when he's got to go win us a game too. So, it's just, that goes with the territory of playing quarterback.
Think quarterbacks hear that game manager, and if it's put on them as a label, that they take that as a slap in the face sometimes?
I don't know, y'all. I don't know what he thinks about that. I'm not going to ask him. I know he's going to have to throw the ball well for us to win some games. And this week, it's not going to be easy. And he has to be more than a manager in this game. He's got to have his talent has got to show, and he's got to play confident, and he's got to throw the ball, and we've got to play aggressive.
Mark, I don't know if you saw some of what, or heard some of what Boone said after the game, but he came in and readily owned his mistake. Is that what you want your guys to do? That you're paying attention to what he said?
Yeah, I did not pay attention to what he said. I didn't see it or hear it. Sorry to offend you guys like that, but I can't. I can't read the good stuff, because I know you're going to get me when it goes bad. So believe me. So I don't. But I do want him to own up to his mistakes, and that's what we try to do. Again, we're far from perfect, but we're going to hold guys accountable. We did some things amongst the team that holds that accountability at a pretty high level, where they had to address the team and talk to the team, and not just, hey, I'm sorry, any of that. They came into a team meeting and sat and addressed it with their teammates. So I think, how they are dealt with by their peers is as strong as anything. And we're trying to, teach them some lessons. They're good kids that made a mistake, and I'm glad we've put it behind us now, and hopefully we learned from it.
On that subject, I think it was Mike Douglas at the South Carolina game said that he thought this team was different from the standpoint that guys can get on other guys and they take it the right way.
Right.
Say, hey, you need to do a better job doing this.
That's right.
I saw you doing that. Where in the past, maybe guys didn't take it the right way. What's behind that, you think, with this?
Well, there's no place to hide. There's accountability at a high level, and we've got to continue to push that higher and higher. And that's been what we're preaching more. We want more, whether it be more effort, more accountability, and, player self-awareness too. The players got to understand they can't be naive. And that's what helps with some of the things we're doing, whether it be peer evaluations and different things. And, there's just, we don't want to create a culture where they could hide anywhere.
Mark, you talked earlier about your players managing their emotions as part of the maturation process. You're pretty fiery on the sidelines and understand you as a player as well. So when you talk to them about that, you sort of draw on that?
I'm sorry, start the beginning of that question.
When you're talking about managing your emotions, you're pretty fiery on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Teammates that have played that way. So when you talk to your players, does it help you to help them keep it in check?
Yeah, and again, there's there's a balance there. There's a fine line. We want to be intense and play with great emotion and great passion, but we have to keep that in control. I'm certainly not perfect in that area. I told you, I think it was after the South Carolina game, right? That was Swindle. He said, "Coach, you got too much juice." yeah, which means calm down. So me and Swindle, we always tease each other about having good energy and having good juice in practice. So he told me, he smiled at me during the game. He said, "Coach, too much juice." But I think there's a balance for all of us, and that's the great thing about sports, and that's the great thing about college football. And you gotta go out there and play, and there's times to be poised, and there's time to be enthusiastic and energetic and all that. But I know you got to have great emotion and great passion, or we're going to have a difficult time winning some games in this league. What's
the closest you've come to going over that edge?
Yeah.
As a head coach?
I've been pretty good. I do make a conscious effort to make sure things are in control. And again, I think your team, has a reflection of you as well. So there's times to be passionate and there's times to be calm. And I'm by no means perfect at any of those. I am who I am. I think you all know that by now. I really can't be any other way.
Do you have a personal get-back coach? Do you have a guy that's supposed to be in charge of saying you might be able to?
Yeah, we got some stories about that, but no. Well, Coach Edmond and I go way back, back to Arizona, and he had that job at Arizona, and he will not do that here. He's done with that. So we got some other guys. Yeah.
How strong is it that the players aren't afraid to say something to you? You've been to a lot of places.
Yeah.
Guys wouldn't dare.
Yeah, no, we have an open relationship. I think there's great respect amongst the coaching staff and the team, and we're all in this together. And so I think we have a good bond in our locker room and within our program right now. So
you talked about managing that juice for the players going into an environment like Death Valley with a big game.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It always is. Like we talked about last week, was if we want the opportunity to play in big games, then you got to take care of your business. And that was last week, taking care of that business to move on to play in a big game like this one. So for me, getting them excited to play this game shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Mark, you mentioned the leadership program a little bit. How much has that helped you guys get through some of these kind of bumps that you've had the last couple weeks?
It's helped a bunch. I think it's helped us all give us some structure in how we manage the situation and communicate about it and hold accountability to all of us in the program.
Mark, you got a game in between now and then, obviously, but CBS just announced that the Mississippi State game will be that 3:30 slot here on CBS. It's been a long time since Kentucky was in that position. What does it say, maybe just a little bit about where you're headed, that you guys can land in that position?
Well, that's great. Obviously, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but every time you win in this league, you're going to put yourself in a position for a bigger game. So I think it's a compliment to our team what we've done to this point, and I know every game gets bigger, and we have a huge one at LSU this week, and that's what's on our mind.
Mark, with Mississippi State's #1, Ole Miss, I think they're up to a great start. The way you guys have improved, does this show that the league is becoming more balanced?
I believe so. We've commented on it a little bit through some of these press conferences through the year, and I've mentioned it before. You don't see anybody backing up in this league, and I know quite a few of the coaches in this league and their staffs and the commitment from a lot of people. So nobody's going back, and I believe it does give you a little bit more parity.
Have you communicated with some of the other coaches in the league about the turnaround at Kentucky this year? And
Just we're all busy in different things. Just little congratulations here and there in text, and so we have some. I have some friends throughout the staff or throughout the conference, like most people. A lot of people in this business. We just like Coach Peeve and all the other guys. So, yeah.
You said you've gotten some compliments along the way about how this team has played. What's been the best compliment someone has paid you so far?
Well, I don't want to get. Yeah, I don't want to get into it too much, but the bottom line is just about the attitude and how hard we're playing. If a group that plays hard, then that's a compliment to me. So they got to be passionate and hungry and playing hard.
Mark Neal said that the catch that Blue made was the best one he'd ever been a part of.
Yeah.
What was that ranking for you?
I mean, it was beautiful at the time, so I loved it. It was great to see guys make individual efforts. I think as a team, it's well documented. We're trying to do things necessary to improve, but you got to have some individual players, that make those great plays, and that was good to see.
Along those same lines with the coaches, how will you know less and the relationship?
I know less just from the years of coaching. I wouldn't say it's on a personal level, but I really like him. I think he's fun to watch. You got to give him credit. Boy, he wins a lot of close games, and he's obviously doing something right. And I think. Again, going back to the things I just talked about, the best compliment you give somebody's teams are tough. They're always tough and physical, and that's a direct reflection of him.
Is he a nightmare for an opposing coach because he's going to do something that is not on the script, it's not on the sheet that you?
I don't know. I mean,
reasonably do.
I don't know why, but but he wins close games, and obviously his teams believe in him and what they're doing because they're never out of it.